Everyone, welcome back to the Oak Island Research Channel. Olivier speaking to you. This is today we're going to study the language of the birds that you may or may not know about. It is not a language you learn at school, even though, no, I'm wrong. It is a language I learned at school for some of it. I'll explain you why in a second. And the reason why this language is very important is that without you knowing, that's the language we've been using for 12 videos and over 7 hours of YouTube videos to decode the La Rochefoucauld map using sounds and similar sounds. What I'm saying there, it's not by chance that the map was coded this way. It was coded using a language that's established. I came to learn this language or came across this language when I was researching Rennes-le-Château 10, 15 years ago, and I came across coded phrases using that language, and I got some interest to it. When my wife discovered the Alexandrian, which was a sept dessin pour Monsieur François La Rochefoucauld, un petit vers, a little verse, it started to cling in my brain that we were dealing with twists on the sound, and that was the bird language. And the bird language been used to cipher codes in Rennes-le-Château as well. So my awareness was built. We'll see the language of the bird is what we've been using. Let me go to the next slide. Here we go. So in Kabbalah, which is a Jewish belief on how to read the Torah so that it reveals new messages, Renaissance magic, alchemy, language of the bird is considered as a secret and perfect language, the key to perfect knowledge, sometimes called la langue verte, the green language. And I'll get back to that green language because we get hints on that. Fulcanelli is a name you may know if you came across alchemy research. And we have that Jean-Yves Monin, French, and he wrote that book, Hieroglyphs, French Hieroglyphs and the Language of the Bird, only available in French, no translation. And translating those books is meaningless, it's so rooted with the very property, the sound property of words, that if you translate, you're going to lose the sound effect in the translation. Maybe that's why La Rochefoucauld map was written in French, because French language obviously allows and loves that green language to be used on its formal structure. And it doesn't work that good with English, obviously. I don't know, it can, but I haven't found most of the explanation about the language of the bird was from a French root. So the alchemist using the green language also used slang, Kant, secret language. I'm not sure I know Kant. I know other, le javanais, and we know verlan. That you learn at school. You learn at primary high when you're 10 years old to speak by reversing syllables. Instead of saying bonjour, you'd say jour bon. The coffee machine's gonna, excuse me for the noise, gonna be a second. Instead of saying bonjour, you would say jour bon and inverse the syllable. And even nowadays, grown-ups and adults use some verlan, talking reverse. That's part, and I didn't know it was part of the language of the bird, but obviously it is. And the last bit here is very interesting. In medieval France, the language of the bird, la langue des oiseaux, oiseau is bird, was a secret language of the troubadour. The troubadour were people who would travel from a city to another or a castle to the other, and that would be the newspaper. They didn't have internet, no newspaper, no printed material, no phone, of course. And there are people whose job was to carry news around from a city to the other, them troubadour. And they formed a caste, and I think that they have a first language, common language to tell the general news, but if they were to exchange secret or sensitive information between themselves or with people of interest, then they would code their speech with the language of the bird, and the troubadour would sing the news. They would sing the news. They wouldn't dictate or tell the news. They would sing them. So in the sound, you can imagine you can hide second meanings and layers and stuff. It's connected with the card game of tarot that we play in France, like, I don't know, probably 25% of the population knows how to play tarot with those long cards full of strange inscriptions. So we got a game for it, like a table game, board game, family game, but it also divinatory, right? You can pretend, some people pretend you can tell the future with them. And it's allegedly based on puns. Puns. I've been using puns with you all videos long. That's what we're doing. And symbolism drawn from homophony, same sound. Symbolism drawn from words that get the same sound. That's exactly what we've been using. For instance, in French, you got the golden lion, le lion d'or. You can say it slowly as le lion d'or, le lion d'or, and the bed we sleep. I tried to make a. I thought I made one for you, or maybe my slides displaced. No, it's not. I had one for you, and I don't seem to have it anymore. One of them, for instance, at school we used to play when I was learning English in senior high or junior high. It was that sentence. How do you say somebody over the phone that it's 1:58 p.m. also where you live? Somebody tells you it's 1:58 here, and you reply, oh, it's 1:58 also here. You could say it's 2222, couldn't you? It's 222, 1:58, 2 also. So you're playing with those sounds, making it's 2222. And actually it's different words in their spelling, but the sound's the same. And you can change the signification this way by using the same sound too. But I guess French is so tricky that it allows that very often. I wanted to draw your attention of that clerical, special character, Henry Boudet. Is part of the Rennes-le-Château gig and Rennes-le-Château mystery. He was a clerical that obviously taught Saunière, the main character in Da Vinci Code movie, or is the priest. Saunière is used for the name of the janitor at the museum, I think. I saw that movie once only. But Saunière is the original priest that discovered whatever this was to be discovered in Rennes-le-Château, and Boudet was his godfather, if you want. He taught him a lot. And Boudet wrote a book. I talked about it once in one former video, where first page is last page. I mean, the book doesn't go from page 1 to 300. It goes from page 300 to 1. And for instance, the whole book is using the language of the bird. Boudet pretends against all evidence that the only common language worldwide is English, and all the other languages are derived from English. For instance, the French word Kerolo, which is not even French, it's slang from some county down south, comes from the three English words key, ear, and hole. So he goes further in the book saying, well, if you put some key, some ear, and some hole, you can hear things. And it's nonsense. All the book is like that. And the book is named The Cromlech of Rennes-les-Bains. A cromlech is a gathering of stones. And it describes many gathering of stones that don't exist in the landscape around Rennes-les-Bains. And at the same time, there's one that exists and it doesn't talk about it. Like everything's mirrored and reversed. And one thing, that's his tomb. I think he died in 1890 or something like that. On his tomb, he had it prepared so that he had engraved his book. That's his book. And there's a page number. And people think you got to start with that page number, working those riddles, because it's just 300 pages of riddle. The book never sold. Of course, his claim that English was the mother of all language was laughed at by scientific and linguists, of course. And he made it published with his own money. And he never sold a copy, basically, but he wanted that book to stay beyond his death, being having a sample in a publisher so that he can reimpress. And they print it, reprint, and they printed it many times. I got a copy at home, and there's a map that's nonsense in there. I mean, if you like nonsense stories, you gotta find that book, because obviously the key to Rennes-le-Château is in there. Nobody ever managed to break it. But now that I got training with La Rochefoucauld, maybe I'll give it a go. Anyways, I wanted to give you another example in English. That's the example I was looking for instead of 2222. Pretty shares weight. Pretty share weights. Pretty share ways. And that's how the language of the bird would be used. That's the translation using language of the bird. You would write down in a piece of paper pretty share weights. Nobody would understand, but somebody who's enlightened to read it with the bird language would hear the sounds. And I'm French, I don't pronounce the accents very well in English. Pretty share ways, and there you go, British Airways. So that's clever, huh? And it's a language. It's not officially, but it's recognized that people use that to hide things. So it's no chance that the La Rochefoucauld map was decoded using that technique. And I want to show you something, because now we are going to transition into another world with La Rochefoucauld map. We've been playing with words. Now we're going to play with picture. Believe me, that thing is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You see that ver here? I had meanings for near, glass, V that gather with no purpose, and others, the worm, and I got a new one. Vert is also with that spelling. It's green. It's the green language. It's telling us about it. And if you doubt that, now you're going to pay attention to this. In that François La Rochefoucauld, I mean, everybody had that map in front of his eyes for a year. I've studied that map ins and out, upside down, left and right. And it's only a couple of weeks ago I found this. This is a bird. It is. I think it's a magpie. I tried for you in white there to contour, but contour with PowerPoint and a touchpad. It does, but just for you to see that you get the tail there. It is a bird. And even tells us was. Oiseau is bird in French. Oiseau, and he's using François, O-I-S, to show us it's a oiseau here. And I think it's a pie, and P in French. P, like the number pi. If we pronounce pi, the Greek letter, we say P in French, like the bird. We just add an I at the end, but it's the same sound, a magpie. And the legend says the magpie is the thief bird. It's always attracted by gold. We tell kids never leave a watch or anything shiny. If it's shiny, the magpie will come and steal it. So either we get a reference to, you understand the number of references we got in that drawing. We got the bird for the bird language. We got the P for the la P for pie. And maybe we got something else with François Pie. I need to work that out, the sound, but I haven't found anything yet. I'm studying that block of letter at the moment. I spent an hour this afternoon on it. Found some interesting, but I can't conclude yet. So voila, the author, after we use for 7 hours the bird language to decode, shows us we're right. It is the bird language, and it is not any bird. It's the magpie, the thief bird, and in French, it's the magpie is P, another reference to pie. So that's a lot in that little drawing, and we'll see together in the next videos. We're going to have to take care of more drawings, and there's some incredible story going in that La Rochefoucauld map with drawings. Thanks for watching. That's only the beginning, and we'll have more to come, of course. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.